Reuters news agency is reporting that the country's domestic intelligence agency has classified the Alternative for Germany party as an extremist entity that threatens democracy.
Disrupt America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. So what is going on in Germany? This is kind of shocking, folks. This is really alarming, and it's almost turning into like an X-Files case on the spot. So coming out of the BBC, Germany's far-right AfD suffers series of candidate deaths ahead of a local vote. So candidates in Germany's far-right party, and I put in quotations because we're going to explain how exactly far-right this party is, had mysterious, spontaneous deaths of its candidates. Many candidates have miraculously died ahead of a vote. Like, talk about some Twilight Zone episode in the making in this. The fact that numerous candidates of this party that they deem far right just happen to die. And this isn't causing, big uproar as it should be. But here's what the BBC is saying about it. As many as 6 candidates for Germany's far-right AfD have died in recent weeks ahead of local elections in the big western state of North Rhine-Westphalia. Police have made clear that there's no evidence of foul play in the deaths. Oh, really? But it means that new ballots will have to be printed, and some postal voters will have to recast their ballots. North Rhine-Westphalia has a population of 18 million, and a reported 20,000 candidates will run for office in its September 14th local elections. That's coming up. The number of deaths has nonetheless raised questions on social media. The state's Interior Ministry has pointed out that the candidates from other parties, including the Greens and Social Democrats, have also died. The AfD became Germany's second biggest party in February's federal elections, spreading from its eastern heartland to the areas of the West too. The domestic spy agency classified the party as a right-wing extremist organization in May, before placing a pause on the description due to an appeal pending in court. The 3 eastern states its AfD associations are still listed as extremists. Initial reports centered on the news that 4 of its candidates have died, and then the deaths of 2 reserve candidates also emerged, prompted a fury of conspiracy theories on social media. AfD co-leader Alice Weidel made no effort to quash the speculation, reposting a claim by retired economist Stefan Homburg that the number of candidates' deaths was statistically almost impossible. However, asked about the rumors in his party, the ADF's numbers 2-figure in North Rhine-Westphalia, K. Gottschalk. That's an interesting name. Gottschalk acknowledged on Tuesday that what I have in front of me, but that's just partial information. That doesn't back up these suspicions at the moment. He told Politico's Berlin Playbook podcast that his party wanted the cases to be investigated without immediately getting into conspiracy theory territory. He said that they had to tread carefully with the family's concerns that they have lost a family member. Like I said, this is like some pseudo reality. This is almost like a CSI episode in the making, that mysteriously, in just in just a matter of just a few weeks, all these candidates have mysteriously died in Germany in a party that they have deemed far right. So it's just kind of insane that this is not making more attention than it should be. I mean, the BBC is reporting on it, but you would think this would be more of an uproar in, say, in this side of the world. That, hey, a bunch of candidates in a political party just miraculously died. And no one knows what happened. They're ruling out foul play, which is kind of very suspicious. And, not to be the conspiracy theorist myself, but how many times have we seen a mysterious death that has happened that immediately they rule out foul play, immediately they rule out and tell people not to make questions about it, not to be suspicious, not to hold account to, what exactly happened in the terms of events, and kind of brush this aside. We've seen this throughout multiple instances. I think I can think of a few, like Seth Rich, for example, a guy who they say got robbed in DC, but in the weirdest way of a robbery. But we're not allowed to question it. We're not allowed to question the death of Seth Rich the same way you're not allowed to question this. You're not allowed to question the fact that a bunch of candidates in Germany just miraculously died. Kind of crazy. So, this woman here, this is Naomi Sebit. Is that how you say it? Sebit? I don't know how to say it. She brings attention to this video. So this is back in May, where this is where they announced this far-right party to be an extremist party. By who? The German intelligence. There's a dark day for democracy, and this is the preparation for an AfD ban, just like in Romania. So if people remember our coverage of Romania and the protests that happened over there, they had a far-right extremist party, but as we found out, that far-right extremist party that they demonized by intelligence agencies is actually a very civilian party. They're criticizing the globalist agenda. They're criticizing the COVID agenda. They're criticizing big, giant entities that have encapsulated a lot of their countries, a lot of the legislating, a lot of the judicial system. And they're holding account to multiple instances that obviously the German government, the true rulers of Europe and the true rulers of North America and the WEF and the WHO, they don't want. They don't want people to rise to power that could question them, that could hold them accountable. So they have to scare people in saying that this party that's outside of the status quo or outside the establishment is a far-right extremist party. And it didn't work so well in Romania because Romania obviously picked up on this and they protested. They were out in the streets. They were rioting. They knew that was suspicious. They knew how stupid it was to do that because obviously with social media, obviously with, word of mouth, people can easily tell that calling this party a right-wing extremist party when you actually can go and look at the party itself and realize, it's not actually that extreme. It's extreme for the globalists. It's extreme for the capitalists. It's extreme for, the bankers. But it's not extreme for people like us that are just trying to survive, that actually want to have a fulfilling democracy for people. But anyway, here's Sky News. This is out of the UK, and this is back in May where they denounce this political party, the second largest in Germany, as a far-right extremist party. Watch this.
You a little bit of breaking news coming into us from Germany. The Reuters news agency is reporting that the country's domestic intelligence agency has classified the Alternative for Germany party as an extremist entity that threatens democracy, a move that enables it to better monitor.
A extremist party that threatens democracy. Holy crap. I feel like it's a broken record. Because that's what they said about Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives. That's what they said about Trump and MAGA. That's what they say about every opposition party. It's a threat to democracy. Why? How is it a threat to democracy to ban an opposition party? That's the threat to democracy right there. You're banning an opposition party. You're banning people's choice, ability to choose an alternative opinion, an alternative political party. That's the threat to democracy right there. But no, they're going to demonize this particular party and call it a right-wing extremist party because of the fact that they challenge the status quo. They challenge the globalist agenda. They challenge the higher authority that is screwing over the German population and the Romanian population and all the other people that are sick and tired of this and want a way out of it. They want out of the globalist nightmare, the WF takeover, the central bank community that's just taking over country after country. That's the threat to democracy, folks. But they're never going to tell you that. So,
a little bit of breaking news coming into us from Germany. The Reuters news agency is reporting that the country's domestic intelligence agency has classified the Alternative for Germany party as an extremist entity that threatens democracy, a move that enables it to better monitor the party, which came second, of course, in February's federal election. Now, they go on to say that certain factions of the AfD, such as its youth wing, have already been classified as extremists, but the party at large...
The youth! The young people! They're the extremists now. These young people that are on social media, that are looking at different alternatives and building up their perspectives of the world and maybe thinking differently. They're now extremists. According to who? The German intelligence board. This is your country working against you. This is your country working against you. This is the threat to democracy right here. As they're claiming that another political party having an alternative opinion and voice in your country is the threat to democracy. Do you realize how stupid that is? You realize how stupid you sound when you promote stuff like this. Oh, it's a threat to democracy to have another political party. But it's not a threat to demonize them, cut them out of the ballots, cut them out of the election, scar the candidates, scar the people that support it, the youth population. Oh, they're now a bunch of extremists. Wow.
Was also classified as a suspected extremist case in 2021. But now the domestic intelligence agency in Germany is classifying the AfD as an extremist entity that threatens democracy.
And notice how they don't even explain how it threatens democracy. It just does. It just does. You know, this ability of having choice. What do you mean? That's a threat to democracy. People can't have choice. People can't have different candidates representing different parties, and then people go out to the polls and vote for themselves. What are you nuts? You can't allow people to have choice. We want them turned into technocratic feudalist slaves. We can't allow choices. That's a threat to democracy. I mean, it's so frustrating because the exact same wording, the exact same phrasing, the exact same narrative that she just said about the German party, again, happens all over the place. It happens all over the place. When our election happened in Canada, they said the exact same thing about Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives. That they're a threat to democracy. That's why you gotta go elbows up and vote for a central banker. It's a threat to democracy to have options, to have opinions. Well, going back, Germany was going really, very, very much downhill. And some people have argued this is kind of the start of it, but this is just an example of when Germany, they used to have, a decent economy. They used to have a decent, population that it was kind of very prosperous at one point, started to go off a cliff. So Angela Merkel, she was the chancellor. She was the president of Germany at the time. This was back 10 years ago. It says Angela Merkel did not just open the borders. She opened the gates of hell 10 years ago. She will go down in history as the tyrant who almost destroyed Germany. the ADF will win. So that's why it's the second largest political party right now, because people realize that over time, this neoliberal, corporatist, globalization policies that are coming out of droves like Angela Merkel here are failing the country and are going against the people. And you remember Angela Merkel, she was the one that got wiretapped by Barack Obama because that's what good friends do. You go and tap their phones and you talk to them and you blackmail them, deceive them to go in that direction. Just like how Joe Biden and the State Department of America blackmailed Europe to go along and blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's why energy is so expensive. But it's okay because the EU bent down to America and its energy suppliers, which is the whole reason the Ukraine war exists. One of the many reasons the Ukraine war exists. Not because Russia invaded, but because we want the oil. We want natural gas. We want heating oil to be serving to the Europeans, not Russia exporting to them. So we cut off the Nord Stream pipeline. We made it worse for them. And also, NATO wanted to expand. It wanted to expand its territory. And we want to destroy Ukraine and Russia and balkanize it, mean tear it apart, so we can extract their resources. That's all this is. That's all this is. So the worst, the people that are truly threatening your democracy are people like Angela Merkel. And here's what she said back. This is from August of 2015. Watch.
In August of 2015, at a press conference in Berlin, German Chancellor Angela Merkel said something so standard for a politician, it was almost easy to miss.
Wir haben so vieles geschafft, wir schaffen das.
Wir schaffen das. We can do it. Or perhaps more accurately, we will manage it. The it to be managed referred to the unprecedented number of people seeking refuge in Europe that summer, and in Germany especially.
So we are now waiting to give our papers. After then, I will go to the Germany.
By late August, Germany was already expecting a record 800,000 asylum seekers. And between 2015 and 2016, over 1.2.
So they did in Germany, like we did in Canada, like the United States, like Australia, like the UK, like Ireland, like a lot of these Western countries that align themselves with the WEF and NATO and other egregious multinational organizations. They're all preaching the same script. Now we can do this. We got to bring in more people because it's going to make things better. It's going to make things better. We blow up people over there. We go and destroy their countries, and then those people have to seek refuge somewhere to survive. We bring them into our territory and make the situation worse. And you wonder why the far-right party got a lot of attention, especially with younger people. You wonder why there's an increase of people speculating on mass immigration. Not because everyone became racist all of a sudden. It's because we know mathematically it makes no sense. But they're doing this intentionally. They're doing this anyway, regardless of how you feel about it. Because it's not Angela Merkel's choice. It's not Justin Trudeau's choice. It's not Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or Donald Trump's choice. It's the WEF. It's the corporate estates. It's the people that truly run the world. They are the ones dictating other countries. You have to do this. Remember Keir Starmer of the UK? He came out and said that, hey, the UK's got to stop this, global citizen initiative. We got to stop bringing in so many migrants. I know that George Soros wrote to us demanding it, but we kind of have to cool it down. That's Keir Starmer stating that George Soros wrote letters to countries demanding they had to do this. A billionaire philanthropist. And I'm using that in air quotes because we all know what a philanthropist people like George Soros or Bill Gates or any of these schmucks are. But there you go. So Angela Merkel, no different than any other leader. And again, you wonder why the younger demographic and more people are looking for alternatives. They're looking for a way out of this, even if it's a far-right party. So Lord Bebo says German government spreads pre-war propaganda. So this was during, with Ukraine. So they're spreading propaganda to their own citizens, amplifying the need that we gotta send German troops in the front lines for warfare. Germany does not want more war. UK does not want more war. We don't want more war in Canada. The United States doesn't want more war. We want to end the crisis. We want to end these crises. But here's the German government, the globalist leaders, doing propaganda stunts to fearmonger and bait their own citizens to amp them up for war. They published a video like this girl who is ready to die in war to defend the Europe and German values. Also, she wants mandatory military services for everyone. Learns a bit of discipline. This is straight out Germany. And this is from April of 2025. So this was still continuing with the Ukraine war, with the Ukraine tensions that we were supposed to wrap up. I thought Donald Trump was supposed to end it. Turns out that was a complete lie, and we're still doing it. We're still doing it.
Ich würde nicht nur für Deutschland in den Krieg ziehen oder auch für Deutschland sterben, sondern vor allem für meine Familie, für meine Freunde.
Hold on. I didn't realize it was going to be subtitled. Let's do this here. Okay. So, I would not only go to war for Germany. I will also die for Germany, but especially for my family, for my friends, for everything that is dear and holy to me. I am Nia. I am a reservist in the German army. There's hardly anything worth defending than my own family. And who else is doing it for me, if not me? I'm in favor of mandatory service because Germany must be defense ready, because it promotes social cohesion, and because we all learn a little more discipline. So the reporter asked, what is the Ukraine war doing for you? And she says, since the beginning of the Ukraine war, the situation is very tense. Ukrainian soldiers also die regularly, who they are trained by comrades. Of course, you worry when will I die in a war if a war would break out where Germany is involved. What is it? It's going way too fast. Hold on. What does it mean to you to be a German patriot? Nationalists hate other countries. Patriots love their own country. To wear the German flag on the shoulder doesn't mean one is nationalist. It means probably that you are a patriot, especially constitutional patriot. One defends the German values, unity and justice and freedom. As your own country is diminishing an opposition party. So again, this is all propaganda. This is all propaganda to trick people to think that this young woman is doing her patriotic duty to defend Germany and doing what? Sacrifice herself for a manufactured war done by central bankers. That's what it takes to defend Germany. Not defending democracy, not defending the population, not defending the rights and ability for a political party to maintain itself in a healthy democracy, but no, to sacrifice yourself for the central bankers. The ones that do not care about your livelihoods one bit. That they will send you off to war, God knows where, why, who knows, and pillage yourself for blood money. For the investment of war, because to them, war is business. It's not about survival. It is to us that fight it, but to them, it's nothing. That's why they're so easily able to promote this and propagandize this. In defense of war, I would not defend Germany, but also defend European values. European freedom is the best we have. And also in the case of defense of war, or NATO case, Europe must stick together to be able to achieve anything. Yeah, European values, you know, like locking up journalists. Like cracking down your own civilians for making tweets. Those kind of values. Those are the fundamentals you have to go to war for. But not for defending a political party that is the second highest, second popular in the land. Not defending democracy, not defending the people, but going out to war to defend the billionaire and trillionaire class that is occupying your country, occupying your legislation to enhance their hideous agenda against you. That they want to promote more censorship, that they want to crack down on people. Now they want to send troops over to Ukraine so that you die for their wars. You. It was Ukraine at first, but then they're realizing, oh, wait, there's not enough Ukrainians. So instead of ending the war, which is what we should be doing, what we should have done on day one, and actually come to a resolution, no, they're going to sacrifice you. They're going to put you into the wood chipper because these people do not give a damn. They don't give a damn about anything outside of their little bubble. And that's why they're so okay with doing this. So, here, this is the National Independent. This is the woman that's the head of the party, the AfD party. And says, breaking, Germany, Alice Weidel, leader of Germany's AfD, vows to hold accountable those who suppressed opinions during the corona period, citing many vaccine deaths and side effects. So this is also why they're considering this party an extremist party, a right-wing party, because they went after the COVID-19 narrative. They were holding accountable to big pharmaceutical cartels that were occupying countries. So that's why intelligence agencies are calling this an extremist party and banning them for participating in democracy. And here she is here making a statement, holding account, not for just herself or not for, you know, some sinister agenda, but for the people. Because as patients, we have the right to know. We have the right to know what goes into our body, what medical experiments are being done on us. And here's her statement on this.
Vielleicht noch eins zu Corona. Es gab so viele Impftote und Menschen mit Impfnebenwirkungen. Allein schon wegen dieser Menschen würde ich mir wünschen, dass...
Okay, I thought there was going to be subtitles, but I guess not. But you get the picture. You get the picture. So, she's calling out and holding accountable to these nefarious people that barred this party to participate in democracy, and just moments before they go to a local vote, these candidates mysteriously die. And no one's really holding accountable to this. No one's questioning this. No one's in shock about this. That right before a vote, all these candidates just mysteriously vanished and died from natural causes. They're already ruling that it's not foul play. So there's not even a proper investigation. And the first thing they do is demonize people that want to hold accountable to this. They lash out at the conspiracy theorists. The ones that want answers for this. The ones that want to know what exactly is happening with this. Why a series of candidates' deaths happened right before a vote. As the German as the German parliament and the German leadership is denouncing this party as some sort of far-right extremist party and barred them from participating in democracy. So there's a lot that needs to be answered for this. But of course, as I stated, much like the Seth Rich case, much like a lot of other mysterious deaths, they will never, ever, ever, ever release crucial information. They want to leave you in the dark. They want you to shut up, go as B, do not pay attention to this, don't peek behind the curtain, even though these are the monsters, these are the ghouls that are purposely, intentionally destroying your country, your fundamental rights, and your population for their own insidious reasons.